Hello and happy Veterans Day. As a voice for Georgia in the United States Senate, I am beyond proud to fight for our brave service members and our veterans in Washington, D.C. And as the son of a veteran, I want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to all those who bravely answer the call of service every single day. Georgia is fortunate to be home to so many veterans, the second highest per capita state in the country. And it's an honor to serve and advocate for them, for you, in the United States Senate. I'm committed to fighting hard for our veterans in D.C., just like you fought so hard to defend our nation. That's why I was so proud to have passed my bill to ensure all veterans, regardless of race, have access to the VA benefits they earned. It's also why I introduced a bill to upgrade standards of care in veterans' homes to prevent future outbreaks. And it's why I demanded action from the VA to address a mail pileup at the Atlanta VA for over a year. And more recently, it's why I called out the political gamesmanship that some of my colleagues were playing and worked hard to pass the PACT Act, the largest expansion of veterans' health benefits we've seen in decades. No question, it is our duty to stand up for the people who stand up for us. Know that I'm committed to fighting for our veterans and making sure the federal government is doing all it can for you and for your families. Thank you for your service. Please know that you've got a partner in me. And thanks so much. Keep the faith. Keep looking up.
Aloha, this is Senator Mazie Hirono. On Veterans Day, we honor the service, bravery, and commitment of our veterans who sacrificed so much in defense of our nation. Over the past 2 years, Congress has made critical progress for veterans in Hawaii and across our country. We've expanded VA care for millions of post 9/11 veterans and increased mental health care for our veterans. The PACT Act has already helped veterans like the Honolulu resident who submitted a VA claim prior to the law's passage but was denied. After the PACT Act was signed into law, his condition became covered by the VA and my office was able to help get his claim granted. Here in Hawaii, we are advancing construction of the Daniel K. Akaka Outpatient Clinic on Oahu, which will serve veterans across our state. We must continue building on this progress to help ensure all of our veterans can access the benefits they've earned. As a member of the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee, I'm working to provide the VA with the resources they need to continue delivering for our veterans. I'll keep fighting to ensure all of our veterans and their families receive the support they deserve. Mahalo nui, aloha.
From the beginning of our nation's history, generations of Michiganders and Americans have answered the call to serve our country. Veterans Day is an opportunity to recognize this remarkable patriotism and selflessness and honor the dedication of our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, and all service members, especially those who made the ultimate sacrifice to defend our freedoms and values as Americans. And while we could never fully repay the enormous debt that we owe our veterans and their families, we have a responsibility to ensure that they have our utmost support upon leaving the service. Veterans represent the very best of our nation, and our military is the strongest in the history of the world because of their efforts and their dedication. And that's why I remain committed to ensuring veterans have access to the benefits, health care, and quality services that they've earned, whether it's receiving the VA benefits that they have earned or critical care for the invisible wounds of war like PTSD or TBI, or illnesses caused by exposure to toxic substances like burn pits and Agent Orange. My forefathers fought alongside George Washington in the American Revolutionary War. They fought with the Union Army in the Civil War. My father is a veteran of World War II, And I was proud to serve in the U.S. Navy Reserve, where I rose to the rank of lieutenant commander. Supporting our nation's veterans is personal to me. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your service and for your sacrifice. God bless you. God bless all of those currently serving, and God bless the United States of America.
Hello, everyone. I want to take a moment to celebrate Veterans Day with you all today. Because Veterans Day is a day of celebration, it's a moment to recognize and honor the service of all of those who put on the uniform and sacrifice to keep our great nation safe. Despite the risks, despite the danger, thousands of the bravest people that you and I could ever meet still volunteer to serve in our country's uniform every year. Just as they have since a group of young patriots stood their ground at Lexington and Concord, and others stood their ground in the Chosin Reservoir, at the Battle of the Bulge, in Iwo Jima, throughout our nation's history. Our veterans put country over self time after time, tour after tour. And when these heroes come home, they deserve more than just an ovation on Veterans Day. They deserve to be honored the other 364 days of the year as well. That means making it easier for them to go back to school and then find a good paying job after earning their diplomas. It means putting more support into hunger prevention programs, which more than 1 million veterans rely on to survive. It means expanding access to safe, affordable housing, because we are all dishonored when any veteran is forced to lay their head down to sleep on the very same streets they defended. And it means making it easier for them to access the benefits they've earned and the health care they need, including those veterans suffering from illnesses connected to burn pits or other toxic exposures. So I'm proud that Congress came together just a few months ago to pass the Honoring Our Pact Act to ensure that they can finally get access to those life-saving services. I'm only alive today because my buddies risked their own lives to save mine in a dusty field just north of Baghdad more than a decade and a half ago. So in honor of their sacrifice and in honor of the sacrifice of every American who's defended our great nation, I'm going to spend every moment that I can working to repay that debt. I hope every one of you will join me not only on this Veterans Day, but every day in continuing our efforts to do right by those who've done so much for the rest of us. God bless all of our troops who are in harm's way right now. God bless veterans who are in VA hospitals all across this great land. And always, God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
As Americans defended the United States, our allies, and the values that we hold dear throughout the last century, West Virginia service members never balked and bravely led the way. I always say that West Virginia is one of the most patriotic states in the nation. And this Veterans Day, Gail and I urge all West Virginians to reflect on the men and women whose sacrifices prove that America is a nation worth fighting for. As one of the states with the highest veterans per capita, West Virginians know what it takes to protect our great country. These veterans are our brothers, sisters, fathers, and mothers. They're our neighbors and our co-workers. And while it is important for us to take the time to honor them this Veterans Day, we encourage our fellow Americans to recognize their service each and every day. We are incredibly grateful to every veteran and military family, especially our Gold Star families, for their remarkable patriotism and the sacrifices that they have made so that we can sleep soundly. May God continue to bless our veterans, the great state of West Virginia, and the United States of America.
Veterans Day is one of the most important days in the calendar year for me. It's the day that we thank the men and women who have served in our armed forces to ensure that they protect our democracy and that flag, which stands for all that we love, for freedom, for all of our freedoms. Today's a day that we also remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice to fight for that democracy, those freedoms that too many of us take for granted. I want to say to the veterans, thank you. Thank you for serving your nation, for your courage, your character, and your love of this country. All of us owe you a debt of gratitude. We also need to thank the military families for their support, their strength, and their encouragement. In too many days, they've been alone. It's also a day I think of the man that I loved, who was a veteran, John, who served during World War II. He always considered his military service the most important job he ever had. And his entire career fought for what veterans were owed and deserved. We've got a long way to go to live up to our promise to take care of our veterans when they get home. We made some progress this year, including expanding medical benefits for over 3.5 million veterans that were exposed to toxic burn pits, long overdue. But there's more work that needs to be done to address veteran homelessness, reduce suicide, improve healthcare, expand educational opportunities, and much more. Together, we'll get it done. But today, I thank all of our veterans and salute you for your love of this country and the work that you have done.